Alrighty, so just like last night, I do apologize that this review is a little bit delayed because I did get home late since I went out. But just like last night, the good news is I was still able to watch these games while I was out. Well, in the case of this last game, on my way back, I was just listening in on the car and pretending that it's kind of a radio as well. But yeah, in terms of tonight's MLS team involving the CONCACAF Champions Cup, well, this was one of those rough nights. You're going to see this happen before, where there are going to be some nights where MLS teams going to have a rough night in the CONCACAF Champions Cup, and this, of course, is one of them. Though it's not a big surprise. I mean, you have one team that is literally playing in Vulcan, probably the toughest environment to face against a Liga MX team and face the daunting Tigres in the most hostile environment in the CONCACAF Champions Cup. And then you have one team that pretty much have no shot to move on into the next round against a Toluca team that is literally the most free-flowing soccer team right now in this region. But let's begin by talking about the first game between Tigres versus Seattle. So there's two ways you can look at this. On one hand, you can say that yes, this is a very frustrating result for the Seattle Sounders because now they have to win by multiple goals and potentially have to win by 3 goals to move on in the next round. But the if you look at it in a way where, at least it could be a lot worse for the Sounders in this one. I mean, this was pretty much all Tigres throughout most of this game. Though you can also say that, this was a game where even though Seattle didn't really have any the golden opportunity. Well, actually, let me take back what I said. They did had some golden opportunity. I meant that they didn't have a lot of chances in this one. They had some golden opportunity, including one that we'll talk about in this game that it could come back to haunt Hampton if they don't move on into the next round and overcome this deficit up in Seattle in the second leg. Now, in the first half, Herrera hits it right to Fry after just 22 seconds into this game before Carrera missed one from long range, and already Tigres was on the front foot. You kind of knew this was gonna happen. They were going to try to get themselves some goals in this first leg affair, and this is where it's very important for the Sounders. Can they survive this first wave of pressure? There's going to be a lot of wave of pressure that they're going to have to survive in this one. Ariola would put it wide as the flag went up, and to the Sounders' credit, they started set into this game, started having a little bit more possession and try to survive the early wave of pressure. That's kind of something you need to do when you go down to Mexico and especially going to Alvocal, where you need to at least have some possession. You can't just sit back and defend it over and over again because when you do that, yeah, that's usually is not going to be a successful thing. Gorion would then puts it way wide from long range. The shots were 3-1 for Tigres early on. Fry would deny Araujo from close in the 18th minute. Tigres once again started ramped up the pressure again, trying to for the opener. Though on the other end, Guzman would deny Rothrock after Tigres turned the ball over. One of the rare times we see Tigres turn the ball over in a bad spot, and Rothrock almost made him pay. But then on the other end, on a quick transition, Herrera would hit it right to Fry. So that just shows you how the margin is very thin in between. I mean, when you're an MLS team playing down in Mexico, where just as you thought you had a great chance on one end, you almost can see it on the other. I even said that this game seems very open, but yeah, the Rothrock chance, that is one that he's want to have back because that was a huge opportunity, especially of how informed Rothrock is in front of goal. You would have expected him to bury that one to give the opening goal for the Sounders and most importantly a vital away goal. Gorion would then hits it way wide from close in the 33rd minute. Before, just as we head to halftime, there was a penalty that was given to Tigres. They go to VAR to see whether or not if Nuhu brought down Linus in the box. Linus did kind of sell it a little bit, as you usually is the case with him. He's definitely one of those guys that are considered to be the biggest embellisher, in my opinion, in Liga MX. But there's no doubt that there was contact, even though if he sold it a little bit, yeah, there was definitely contact on the replay. I mean, when I saw that, I knew it was going to be a penalty. Even if Nuhu didn't put too much contact, you know the rules when it comes to CONCACAF an MLS team, it usually means that they're going to either get screwed over or the fact that maybe a call that we might see at times maybe be overturned. It's not going to be overturned. The CONCACAF Champions Cup, and that is exactly what happened. So yeah, here comes on hell career. He has a chance to bury this one, and you would have thought that he would do so. I mean, with all the pedigree he has, you would have expected him to bury this to get Tigres a 1-0 lead. But he doesn't. He skied the penalty. I mean, that really shocked everybody at Vulcan. Like they were ready to rub before halftime, but just like that, somehow in some way, the Seattle Sounders got away with it. And I even wrote that is probably a huge get out of the jail free card moment for the Seattle Sounders because yeah, when that happens, you may be thinking maybe this might be a special night for the Sounders because you usually do not see Tigres have those kind of moment. And of all guy that you can think of to have that kind of moment, it's Angel Carrera. I mean, he's been in many situations, even in Champions League night during his time with Atletico Madrid. So yeah, that was definitely a shocking moment to see. But the Sounders, they'll take it. We do head to halftime scoreless between both of these teams. In the second half, Rothrock had another big opportunity. In fact, Rothrock had pretty much have all the great chance that the Sounders have in this one, but he puts it high near the top of the arc. And as I mentioned before, when you don't take your chances, Tigres is going to bite back, and they did do so in the 51st minute. As Herrera would score from Gorion to give Tigres a 1-0 lead, it came off bad turnover from the Seattle Sounders. You just can't do that against Tigres. You're going to get punished more times or not. And then I thought in the 55th minute, Nuhu, of course, was booked in the first half for that PK he gave up to Tigres. Oh, I think he's very lucky the fact that he's still on the pitch for the rest of the game because this could have easily been a second yellow after he pulled down Linus just outside the box. Again, Linus definitely embellished a little bit. As I mentioned before, he's probably the biggest flopper in Liga MX and in this continent itself. But there was no doubt that there was contact, and if this was an MLS game, I would have said that would have been a second yellow. That was a very lucky moment for Nuhu there, and more times or not, I feel like with the way I said, seems like sometimes in these CONCACAF play, it always goes against an MLS team. This is one of the rare moments that it did, and that Nuhu has got to consider himself lucky that he didn't get a second in yellow when clearly this definitely looked like in my opinion, and I've seen this happen many times before, whether it's just outside the 18-yard box or maybe in the middle of the park, it's always going to be a yellow card, or in this case, a second yellow, in my opinion. We then get some coming together between both of these teams because why not? I mean, this is the MX versus MLS affair as well. You always see that happen. And then this is the big chance, and this is the moment that I think the Seattle Sounders and certainly Paul Vrafro is going to have nightmares about because he had a tap in here. And while it was a great save by Guzman, I mean, he absolutely robbed him there. That is one that he's got to bury. I mean, that is probably the easiest chance that Rothrock is going to get all season long. He had some great finish throughout the season, but this was probably the easiest one that he could have put it in, and he somehow missed it. I mean, somehow Guzman kept that one out, and somehow this one stayed 1-0. And like I said, that is going to be a moment that's going to haunt the Sounders as they don't move on into the second leg. That probably might be the vital moment that could decide this two-legged affair and really flip the tie in. But instead, we stay at 1-0. Herrera then puts it high from long range before Aguirre had a shot that was blocked off the line. The Sounders were on the ropes again. I mean, once again, Tigres was putting on the pressure, and this time they made that pressure pay to get that second goal. As in the 76th minute, originally this goal was given to Joachim, but they changed this to an own goal. Looks like this was last touch off of Reagan on the corner. I mean, not great set piece defending there from the Seattle Sounders. And yeah, just like that, it's 2-0 in favor of Tigres. And it could have been 3-0 if it wasn't for the post denying Herrera and Tigres their third goal. Seattle was just holding on for dear life. I mean, there's no doubt that Tigres, they had all the momentum. They were not just going to be satisfied with two. They were going to try to go for third or even a fourth goal to really just put this tie away in the first leg. Brunetta would then puts it high from long range in the fourth minute stoppage time. But yeah, in the end, Tigres, they do get the 2-0 win in this one as the second leg moved to Lumen Field in Seattle. The shots in this one, not close whatsoever. 23 shots compared to 4 that the Sounders had. 4 shots on goal for the 2 that the Sounders had. 1 shot off target for the 8 that Tigres had. 1 shot that was blocked for the 8 that Tigres had. And possession-wise, 54% possession compared to the 46% possession that the Sounders has in this game. And like I said, the only silver lining coming out of this game, if you're the Seattle Sounders, is the fact that, it's only a 2-goal deficit that they have to face. We have seen multiple times before where an MLS team face a multiple goal deficit after the first leg, either down in Mexico or somewhere else, and they're able to come back. And keep in mind, just a couple of years ago when Seattle played against this Tigres team in the Leeds Cup, the Sounders won 3-0 that game against Tigres. They just need to do that again in this one. So yeah, there's definitely still a glimmer of hope for the Sounders heading into the second leg, but at the same time, because they didn't get an away goal in this one, if they do concede a goal at Lumen Field against against Tigres, then yeah, the mountain might be too far to overcome. But then again, another thing that will at least give the Sounders a little bit glimmer of hope is the fact that Tigres did not look good when they were playing in American soil and playing against Cincinnati early on in the CONCACAF Champions Cup. I mean, they got absolutely blown out in that game. They lost 3-0 in that one. And by the way, the reason why they kind of lost that one is because they did arrive Cincinnati late. I'm pretty sure Seattle might do anything and everything to make sure that Tigres doesn't arrive on time. Something tells me maybe Mother Nature could help to delay that flight to Seattle as soon as possible. Or maybe they might even just think about closing SeaTac and say, hey, you can't fly to SeaTac anymore. You have to be flying to somewhere else, maybe through Everett or through Portland, and then you have to make your way up, and maybe that might be an advantage for Sounders. That's that. I mean, that if that is the case, that is the ultimate shit house when it comes to CONCACAF play. But yeah, overall, for the Sounders, yes, it was not a great performance whatsoever. It's not the result that they want. They're still in this. I do think that's they're still in this. There is still some hopes that they can salvage this heading into the second leg, and we'll see whether or not if that's going to be the case heading into the next round. Now, moving on in terms of the next match, in a match where, as I said before, I didn't give the Galaxy any chance in this one. And ultimately, the Galaxy are actually facing the same situation as the Sounders have. They have to win by multiple goal. But the good news for the Galaxy is that their task is a little bit easier, at least winning by multiple goal, whereas the Sounders, where I feel like they have to win by more than 3 goals to advance. In fact, they have to win by 3 goals or more to advance against Tigres in the second leg. The Galaxy, they can just win by 2 goals, and as long as they don't concede more than 3 away goal against Toluca in the away leg, then they can still have a chance to move on into the next round because of the way that they actually got a couple of away goal. And I would say that, for the Galaxy, yes, it was very disappointing that they conceded those goals late in the second half, but they actually fought hard in the second half. How the first half went, I thought this was going to be just kind of gone according to the script, where everybody knew that Toluca was going to is going to pretty much dog walk the Galaxy throughout this game. But you got to give credit to Greg Vanny's side. They fought hard in the second half, and they almost got the ideal result that they have heading back to LA for that second leg. Now, in the first half, Helino missed wide from close range, and JT Marcialski is probably lucky that it went wide, because when he dived for that, it actually went under him. If that one went in, that would not be a great moment for JT Marcialski, and probably a nightmare situation for the Galaxy to find themselves 1-0 down so quickly in the game. Tommy would then puts one into the side netting, as that was the Galaxy first shot, but then the 12th minute, Toluca takes the lead. It's Castro. He scored from Pereira to make it 1-0 in favor of the Galaxy. The Galaxy feel like that should be offside, and it was not. The flag never came up, and it was the right call too. I mean, it was just a simple long ball where the Galaxy defense. We talk about that's been a big issue for them alongside with the attack. I mean, this moment they just completely played the offside trap wrong. I mean, they didn't put their lines relatively well. When you're on the defense and you're trying to play a high line and maybe trying to catch a team offside, you have to make sure you keep a straight back line. You can't have a narrow kind of back line or even just a wobbly kind of back line to play the offside trap. And in this case, they just didn't play it right, and they got punished for it. So it's 1-0 in favor of Toluca. Paulinho looked for a second, but his shot was deflected. That came off a bad giveaway from the Galaxy as well. And I thought this was going to be a long night for the Galaxy if they're going to keep doing that and the way that they play in the first half. And then we started had some audio issue because, of course, it just feels like every single CONCACAF Champions Cup game is going to have audio issue. I'm not going to really blame Fox Sports on that. I mean, it's very easy to blame Fox Sports for this, but you got to remember, all the feed that is coming from this game is actually not from the Fox Sports network. It's actually coming from the CONCACAF site. So if you watch any other game, even if you watch 2DN, you probably would have had the same issue as well. But it kind of got to a point where I only heard both John Strong and Stu Holding commentating the game. I basically had hear no audio whatsoever ever from the actual game itself. Basically, no crowd noises whatsoever. So that was kind of weird to see. Gallardo would then puts it wide from long range before Paulinho would miss wide from close range. But then the 43rd minute, Paulinho would be on target. He scored from Angulo to make it 2-0 in favor of Toluca, and that would be the scoreline heading into the second half. And I thought, yep, they're going to be 3 or 4-0 before the end of the night, right? However, in the second half, whatever Greg Vanny said to this team, it worked out because they started to get more possession in the Toluca half, but they still weren't really creating too much chances as a result. But that's a start for the Galaxy. For the entire first half, they were pretty much just getting camped in their own end. In the second half, they started to become a little bit more proactive. You just kind of had a sense that they have to do that. I mean, they can't just feel sorry for themselves. They have to at least take some risks and maybe get something going. And if they get blitz on the other end, so be it. But in the 58th minute, Garcia denied Peck, but then it falls to Klaus there, who puts this one over before Paulinho missing a free header from close range. I mean, that is one you do not usually see that happen very often, with Paulinho being one of the most lethal finisher in Liga MX. That is definitely one that 9 out of 10 times we would have thought that it would go in, and that would be huge too, because on the other end, we talk about how in this game where Seattle didn't take their advantage, Tigres immediately pounced on it. Well, this was the opposite. Toluca didn't take their chances, and the Galaxy took advantage, because in the 66th minute of what really is like the second attacking moment that they had throughout this entire game, for this one. Well, actually, technically, it's the third, because we saw they had a moment in the 58th minute as well. But really, this was only the third attacking moment the Galaxy has, and they put the ball to the back of net as Gabriel Peck would score from Royce to make it 2-1 in this one. You know that meme where there's that dog where that it feels like one dog is basically flexing his muscle and the other dog is just kind of whimpering. I can basically use that meme talk about Gabriel Peck when it comes to his CONCACAF Champions Cup form and his MLS form. And on the left where the dog is flexing his muscle, that's pretty much Gabriel Peck in the CONCACAF Champions Cup, because he's had 6 goals so far in this tournament. I think he's the top goal scored in this competition, although I don't think that might be the case after Paulinho scoring a hat trick in this one. But on the right side where the dog's kind of whimpering, that's Gabriel Peck in MLS play. For whatever reason, he can get it going in the CONCACAF Champions Cup. And that's also, you could say the same for the Galaxy as well. For whatever reason, in this CONCACAF Champions Cup, they're showing the fight that I'm just kind of wondering, why do they not show this kind of fight when they play in league play? And I think that's probably something that Galaxy fans are probably asking as well. But at the same time, not a great moment for the Toluca goalkeeper Garcia as well. I mean, that was just a near post goal that he's got to save that one. But the Galaxy don't care. They pull within one, and now the question is, can they do the unthinkable? Can they hit back to LA with knowing the fact that it's only a 1 goal deficit? If they win the next game, only needing 1 goal to win the next game, then they go on because of the away goal rule. Well, unfortunately, in the 73rd minute, Paulinho restored that 2 goal lead. So that made it 3-1 in this one. However, 4 minutes later, Marco Reus scored from Aldi to make it 3-2 in this one. And like I said, it's that fight and that effort that whatever Greg Vanny said to this team, it absolutely worked perfectly, because they were showing the effort and they were showing the fight that you would definitely not have expected the Galaxy would have done, especially how they play in the first half. And like I said, once again, I asked, can the Galaxy hold on to this resort, knowing that they got that crucial away goal and now they just need 1 goal to move on to the nope. In the 85th minute, is that man again, Paulinho, complete his hat trick here. Just criminal defending there from the Galaxy, and that's gonna be something that will really kind of damper on what really I thought it was kind of a spirited fight for the Galaxy throughout this game, where these bad defending here again, where Garces just cleared this right to Paulinho. I mean, that is the last guy you want to clear the ball right to in the box, and yeah, rightfully so. He was punished. The Galaxy was punished. Paulinho completed his hat trick, and Toluca restored their 2 goal lead, and that would be also the final goal scoring in this one, as in a 6 goal thriller. We saw Toluca winning 4-2 in this one. I mean, you know that whenever Toluca plays in the game, there's going to be a lot of goal scoring. That's just kind of how they like it. The shots in this one, 18 shots for the 7 that the Galaxy had, 3 shots on goal for the 6 that Toluca has, 7 shots off target for the 2 that the Galaxy had, 2 shots that was blocked for the 5 that Toluca has, and possession-wise, 76% possession compared to 24% possession the Galaxy has in this game. And like I said, as much as I know the Galaxy will be very disappointing in terms of conceding that late goal, that now it seems like their hope is not as big as they thought that they would be. It's still a very spirited fight, and I think Galaxy fans. I mean, I know it's on a losing cost, but they'll definitely be proud of the way that they showed that fight. They really hope that might be the same thing in league play, because if they can show this kind of fight in league play, there's no doubt that they should not be sitting on just one win so far this season. And like I said, unlike Seattle, because the Galaxy got those crucial away goals, and not just one, but 2 away goals to head back to Dignity Health Sports Park, they just need to win by 2 goals, and as long as they don't give up 3 away goals to Toluca, and then move on into the next round. And while that might sound like a crazy thing to say, if I remember, didn't the Galaxy beat Toluca in the CONCACAF, or not in the CONCACAF, but in the Campeones Cup last year as well, if I'm not mistaken. I might be mistaken though, that is. And if they did beat him, I think it was like a 2-1 scoreline. That was the final score in that one. Again, I might be completely mistaken, and if I am, I do apologize to Toluca fans, and you can let me know in the comment section below that I am wrong, because yeah, again, that happened a couple of months ago, and I also will make the excuse the fact that it is a little bit late at night. I can't really go back to really look at it, and also be kind of feeling a little bit tired from this whole day as well. But either way, hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you do, make sure you guys leave a like, smash the subscribe button. As always, let me know in the comments below what do you think of both of these games. That, yeah, it definitely was not a great night for MLS team in the CONCACAF Champions Cup. And let me know in the comments which of these teams might be more likely to have a chance to move on into the next round, despite the fact that they found themselves in a bit of a hole heading into the second leg, going back to their home stadium to host their Liga MX team in the second leg, that is. But until then, hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I will see you guys next time.